Hi, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Shannon Ziegler. She's a tech IA in West Shore School District, which makes her a tech guru for us. She works with a team of other tech IAs and her supervisor, and they are our default go-to people in the district for tech. So, Shannon, why don't you go ahead and explain a little bit what the tech IA role is?
So a Tech IA is a technology instructional advisor, which most school districts call a technology coach. So we have about the same role, where our job is to keep up to date on different instructional strategies involving technology, different learning management systems, engagement tools, anything that's out there that could benefit the classroom. So we spend some time researching and exploring and trying things, and then we spend a large chunk of our time sharing those in one way or another with other teachers. So a lot of those ways end up being a one-to-one conversation with a teacher, or could be small groups or departments, and sometimes involves professional development, a lot of which is in the summer, but also on in-service days throughout the school year, or as teachers request it. So that's the one reason I ended up going into this role. I was a business and computer teacher at the high school level for many years, and teachers just kept coming up to me during the class, hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, I tried this new tool, like I'm really having trouble using it. And I was finding that I was really enjoying helping teachers with that. So I wanted to try and make a different impact than I was making in my classroom. And it is really neat that even though I don't see a direct impact on the students, essentially some of the things I get to do are impacting large numbers and entire buildings worth of students. So that's a really cool thing to know, and something I really enjoy about my job.
And I think you and I have gotten to know each other so well because of being part of the personalized learning team. I think I've talked about that a little bit in this course, and it's a really amazing initiative that the district has taken on and really put our tech IAs in charge of. And you guys have 100% been the driving force behind all that we've been able to do with that, which has tied in a lot with this grad coursework. So
Right.
I've been able to pull a lot of those resources for this
And
course.
that's the next thing about our role is we have that time where we don't have a set schedule. So I can take time to go do a site visit at a school, or go to a conference and learn some things, and do some research, read a book, and then I can bring that back and share it with as many people as I possibly can. Whereas teachers, you guys are busy every single day, all day. While you do take some time to learn new things, you don't have the vast amount of time to get started on some things that coaches are able to jump in and kind of get things rolling.
Yeah, and I've been super grateful to you for that. I can't think how many times I've just shot off a quick email of help. How do I make this happen, or what's the best resource to
Right.
use for this? And you're on it, because that's such a nice part of your job is you're able to take the time to research it, play around with it, figure out the tweaks and whatnot to make it work.
And you tend to ask a lot of questions that I don't know, so I find that, but then I to share that with lots of other people, things I wouldn't have thought of. You think of it, and then it impacts a lot of other people then.
Right. It's definitely been awesome teamwork between the tech IAs and I think
Yeah.
especially the personalized learning team. I think we've all worked
Right.
together to come up with some stuff that's really been able to have an impact district wide, which has been nice.
Definitely.
So I decided with this to push myself. We had to choose a controversial topic in education, technology related, and a way to kind of push ourselves with using that technology in the classroom. I went with augmented reality, which is a huge stretch for me as a Spanish teacher. I think you think of
Right.
history classes using augmented reality, and you think of science classes. I think of Matt Wagner in our building and how, or Ian Wynn, even with math, how augmented reality would really work for them. But I wanted to push myself beyond what I would normally try and find a way to incorporate augmented reality in a Spanish classroom.
Yeah.
So before we even go there into really classroom specifics, you attended a conference where you got to go to some sessions about augmented reality. So I think people often confuse virtual and augmented reality. When you think augmented reality, what do you envision and see?
Well, augmented reality and virtual reality, while they're the same kind of concept, where they're having students engage with something from other worlds or other locations or things they don't normally experience in their world, I think it's an engagement factor where it lets students engage with material they normally wouldn't have, or they would have only read about on a piece of paper, or saw a video about, or saw an image of. But it really kind of gives them a little bit different of a level of experience with something. virtual reality is more of experiencing a location, a setting, being fully immersed somewhere, really grasping what someone else was seeing, kind of being in someone else's eyes. Whereas augmented reality is bringing objects and things into your own world. So seeing how something could look in your own setting, objects and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you. So this I wanted to hit on because I think it ties in with some things we've talked about in the personalized learning team too. Some fear that the use of augmented reality in the classroom may remove meaningful interactions between students and teachers.
Right.
And I know we've talked about that. We're going one-to-one this year as a district. And so the concern of a computer replacing a teacher and removing that connection. How do you see augmented reality working hand in hand with still developing meaningful relationships and having connections with your students, or students having connections with each other?
Well, AR and technology in general, they're tools, they're resources. They are not what's driving instruction. They're not the ones creating the experiences for the students. They're just a tool to help go beyond where they could go before. I think technology really, it's already part of their world. And I really think that since they're using it so heavily in their personal lives, and that's including AR, I think bringing technology into the classroom gives us the opportunity to teach students how to use it appropriately and use it to their benefit rather than having it drive their lives. Showing that face-to-face conversations happen with the assistance of technology when you don't know the answer to something, or when you want to show someone something or describe something. So I think bringing technology in the classroom is super important for that reason, but obviously continuing to have the teacher and the students drive everything, and just have the technology there as a supplement. Think back to like Pokemon Go. There was that summer where Pokemon Go was crazy, and kids were all over the place trying things out, and people like made fun of that. I wasn't a Pokemon goer, but if you really think about it, kids really got excited about something.
They did.
And being able to take that excitement and harness it and use it for something that's going to teach them something, I think is really powerful. So watching what they already do in their personal lives and then bringing it into our classroom will be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen kids really do some awesome collaboration when I've put technology in their hands. Even some of my kids who are a lot more cautious and timid when it comes to collaborative work, when they've got an iPad in their hands, they transform.
Right. And you give me a pencil and paper and say, like, show me what this setting would look like. Well, I draw stick people.
Absolutely.
Like, I couldn't get very far. But if you can let me pull some images off the internet, grab a couple video clips, like, I can really show you what I mean by what I was trying to tell you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it ups their confidence because we're giving them better resources and tools to show what they know.
Right.
So let's wrap it up with just a couple of your favorite go-tos for implementing AR in the classroom. Are there any apps, resources, sites, blogs that you really love that help teachers bring this into the classroom?
So while it's not world language related, I thought the Frogopedia AR app was the one that really helped me to understand how powerful AR can be in the classroom. I don't know how you were with frog dissection, but it was definitely a day that made me a bit queasy.
Sure.
And we have those students who just opt out altogether and then they never get that experience. But the Frogopedia AR app is amazing. You can just pull it up on your iPad. Everyone can sit and look and peel apart the different layers of the frog and see all the pieces, and it takes away that grossness factor.
That ick
students
factor.
Focus on the learning, and they don't have to have a pile of dead frogs in a sink.
Right.
But I'm reading this book called Make It Stick in my instruction with design classes, learning about different ways to learn things and retain knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And the big theme we're learning here is the power of combining image, text, audio, video versus just one of those.
Okay.
There's something called the dual coding theory, which talks about not just learning in an auditory way or not just learning visually, but when you have all those different mediums come together as one,
Mm-hmm.
it allows the brain to process things differently. So I definitely think AR is part of that. It brings all of that together. As for world language, I did a little bit of Googling, so I hadn't thought about AR for world language.
That's okay. There's not a lot out there about it. So So
I think when you're teaching culture, VR experiences, going into cities and going into old,
definitely.
ruins and things, but also when it comes to talking about objects that are important to a culture or foods, you can bring those in and they can kind of explore them a little bit differently than just looking at a picture of them.
Sure.
But I also saw there's an AR app called Mondly AR.
Okay.
I didn't dig into it, but it's supposed to be a virtual language learning assistant.
Ooh.
Where like pop a lady into your room and then you have a conversation with her in another language. So
Oh, wow.
I'm assuming it probably costs money, but
Sure.
we could look into that. But that would definitely be something kids could use to kind of practice some of the skills that they're learning before they have a conversation with you or another classmate to kind of talk themselves through some different things first.
Definitely. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time out of your summer. I'll let you go so you can enjoy a little bit of your free time before you pick up kiddos from camp. But we all appreciate you helping out today, and I will see you in a few weeks when school starts back up.
Thanks. See y'all.
All right. Thanks, Shannon.
Bye.
Bye.